What's up, y'all? And thanks for stopping by the Surge T channel. I am Surge T, and tonight I'll be talking about SummerSlam, giving my rundown and my thoughts on a pay per view that I rather enjoyed. There were some moments that I'm like this, and some moments I'm like, holy, you know what? I was just out of my seat, especially the one that definitely wasn't expecting. But let's get into it and let's talk about it. Then we'll just let's run right through the results of each match, and then I'll go in depth in some of the key matches. Let's talk with the talk about the kickoff, which we saw Big E. He takes on and then takes out that Money in the Bank thief, old sneaky Corbin, with the big ending, and he gets his briefcase back. And RK Bro are your new Raw Tag Team Champions, courtesy of the three most devastating letters RKO on AJ Styles. Now, Eva Marie is worse than an airport tuna fish sandwich, said one fan sign, pointed out by Pat McAfee. Hilarious. And in a match with Alexa Bliss, Eva Marie eats another L. Evolution is dead. And the loser of this match is Eva Marie, courtesy of set up by Piper Niven, who even takes her robe and saunters out of there. And I was just thinking that was she going to attack Eva Marie? She wasn't. She didn't. But I can't wait to see that happen one day. Now, a reckoning for Sheamus as Damian Priest becomes the new United States champion. Good on him. He deserves to get a rub like that because this is like one of their top talents they got from NXT, and they're pushing him pretty good. Hopefully, he'll be in line for a world title shot in the future. But this will suffice. Now, we see a double super kick on Rey Mysterio. A super kick sandwich, says Pat McAfee. That's how he put it. Um, and then Rey's on the receiving end of a splash. And the Usos retain, and the bloodline remains intact with the gold so far. Rick Boogs and King Nakamura entertained the crowd with Pat McAfee rocking out. I thought they were going to have a match, King Nakamura, but they were just there for entertainment. And let's talk about the SmackDown Women's Championship, which would have ended up being who gives a you know what match. Somehow, Sasha Banks was unable you know, to compete. Who did they bring out? They bring out Carmella. I'm going Carmella again. Even the crowd was restless. Even the crowd was pissed. You could even see Bianca was kind of pissed too. Like, but I think she was in character. Because her character, wants to, get it on, and she wants to take out all her frustrations on, you know, Sasha. But then she goes, well, I guess I might as well take it out on you. And then all of a sudden, we hear that familiar start to that entrance theme, and it is Becky Lynch coming back from maternity leave, having her baby Rue, and she comes back, and Bianca Belair is like acting like a fangirl. Like I don't know why she does that. It's like this is your possible opponent. This is someone that you're gonna have to meet down the road. You can't be all happy and giddy like you're a fan. You probably are a fan, but it's like, come on. But then it ends up that Becky Lynch is in the ring and she's the crowd's behind her. She's getting the crowd going, and then she turns her attention on Carmella and takes her out, beats her up, leaves her laying out on the arena floor, the ring floor. She goes back in and she goes, "What do you say to EST and the man blow the roof off this place for the SmackDown Women's Championship?" Bianca Belair agrees, and Belair gets squashed after a shot to the jaw and a manhandle slam to the mat, and Becky is the new SmackDown Women's Champion. I guess you're gonna chalk it up to Bianca was just so taken back by the whole thing. She wasn't ready. Her head wasn't in it, and you even see her in the walking up the ramp where she's going, okay, okay, you got me, all right, okay, all right, I don't know. It's just like, how come they just didn't bring us? They say, oh, Sasha Banks isn't going to, be here tonight. Here's your opponent, and then have Becky Lynch come out. instead of doing the whole thing with Carmella and all that stuff. But it did actually pay off because we were like, oh, good. We were relieved that at least it wasn't Carmella. But the fact that Belair got squashed, but the way they did it kind of makes sense, okay? Because she wasn't ready. Her head wasn't in the game. She wasn't prepared for Becky. But Becky returns, and she returns in a big way, and she is the new champion. So that means that she is ready to go. She's not just coming back and saying to everybody, "Hey, I'm back," and then she's gonna not be back for another month, and then she's gonna start going. But she's the champ now, so she's gonna go. And of course, a 1, 2, 3, and Jinder eats a claymore, and McIntyre picks up the victory. I hope that that's the end of it, and McIntyre moves on to a better rivalry or a better program. Jinder Mahal. No one's into it. I'd like to give that guy a benefit of the doubt sometimes, just because you can see that he's trying. You can see he got in better shape and everything like that. He became WWE champion, but then it's stuff like this, and you're like, just go somewhere else, and I don't know, go back to main event, go back to catering, what have you. And of course, the Queen of Handouts gets the win by figure eight to Nikki Ash and becomes the Raw Women's Champion. I gotta tell you, the crowd was not into this match. They were booing Becky. They weren't behind Nikki Ash. Uh, you know, Rhea Ripley was just there. I mean, I'm not saying that they were so disrespectful of the three women, but they just weren't in it. You could totally see, and I guess because they knew that the outcome was going to be, you know, Charlotte Flair becoming the Raw Women's Champion again. Hopefully, she wins this. But after winning this title, she holds it for a long time. How about holding it long as Roman Reigns has held his title, and Bobby Lashley, and all like that. You know what I mean? Even like Bianca Belair, she held the title for a pretty good amount of time. Now, as I had hoped, Edge came out from now the depths of the past, coming up from the stage, all of the Brood, and we hear the music of Gangrel, and also was the Brood's music as well, and it looked great. He looked like the Edge of the Brood, with the glasses on as he came up, the flames around. It was pretty awesome, and then he was accompanied by his usual theme, and but also pumped up to hear one of my favorite themes, entrance themes, if not the best, because I really really enjoy it. It's probably one of the best, entrance themes, and it was great to see it. Great to take a trip back, to that time during the Attitude Era and all that stuff. But let's get into this match. We see a spear being countered by Rollins with a pedigree, which was a pretty damn sick spot. I loved it. And then Edge spears Rollins after a corkscrew moonsault by Rollins, and he kicks out. But Edge goes to that dark place and makes Rollins tap to the crossface. So Edge gets a little bit of payback for the 7 years, what happened to him back in 2014, and what Rollins was doing recently, talking about Beth Phoenix and their daughters, Ruby and Lyric, and he got his payback. And Edge, I gotta say, for his age, the guy has an 8-pack. The guy is in awesome shape, and it's not surprising. He was in great shape when he was during his regular run back in the day. So so he was definitely ready, and he made sure to not let Rollins do too much damage or even hit the stomp to his neck. He definitely kept that option away from Rollins. But congratulations to Edge, one of my favorites, one of my all-time favorites in a match, winning and defeating his arch nemesis, the Architect, Seth Rollins. It was announced 51,326 were in attendance at the Allegiant Stadium. And I don't know if this is WWE's way of sticking it to AEW Rampage. I think they got like, if I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken, but I believe it was 50,326. If that is the case, if I remember correctly, then that's them kind of sticking it to them by saying, okay, we're just going to add another 1,000 to it. I hope WWE ain't that petty. Ain't that petty, but you know how it is. But and then people are gonna question that, because you know how sometimes they talk about their, what do you call it, talk about their attendance records, and then they always say, "Oh no, it wasn't that much. It was only like 30,000. It was only 40,000." You know, but yeah, it's a pretty good number for Allegiant Stadium. And Money in the Bank. Speaking of Allegiant Stadium, they're going to be holding Money in the Bank next July 14th of 2022. So that's going to be pretty good. I might try go to that next year. We'll see how the state of our country is now. I mean, even though there were a lot of people there and stuff, but they're still wearing masks. Some weren't wearing masks and stuff like that. Let's see how that goes, and let's see if I could get away for that, because I would definitely like to go and be in attendance for that. And we see a segment that I was fast forwarding until at the end, and I see Miz and Morrison and Woods with a skirt gun segment that no one was into. They even showed a what do you call it? A call that instant replay, really slow, right? And you see, Xavier Woods squirting it, water going out really slowly, and here's the crowd. Like, why would you do that when you clearly show in slow motion nobody reacting in the crowd? You know why? Because that shit is childish. What are we watching? Double Dare, Nickelodeon, or are we watching WWE? I'm sick and tired of those childish segments. You know what I mean? It looks hella stupid. Like, does anybody really want to say that? Nobody paid to see that. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just like I would wish I had a squirt gun myself, and I would start squirting those guys in the ring. And I'm like, man, it's like get off this damn stage. Like, it was just so lame to see that. God, I can't believe it. It's so funny because at the same time, you see how not into the segment the crowd was. You put it in slow motion and you're going to show people that are not interested in the damn segment. Yeah, good going WWE. Now Oldberg versus Lashley for the WWE title, and Oldberg is in phenomenal shape. But I see him on the stage and he's walking like an old man, which he is. You see him when he's coming out, through the smoke, and it looks like he may have gotten a shot of fucking what do you call it of what the old people you know what I mean? Something to get him to walk, because he's like walking so old. He's like old and he's walking the way he's like he's walking like really gingerly, like you know what I mean? And I'm telling you, Goldberg was hitting these offensive moves and the crowd's booing every time. And I'm like, let him have it, Vegas. And then man, old Bill was struggling and at times looked like a danger to Lashley's well-being. And I don't mean that as a compliment. Now I see why people call him reckless. And Lashley was getting cheered as he was hitting every offensive move of his own. And Lashley spears an injured Goldberg whose knee was shot. He destroyed by Lashley, and the match was called off by the ref. You see Lashley with that, that thing he does where he has a person in a fireman's carry outside the ring, and then he either rams the person's head or his knee. In this case, because Goldberg, he was targeting that knee, and he hit it like twice into the ramp and rammed it twice into the post. You know, and then that was that, and he couldn't get up, and then of course it was called by the ref. And then Oldberg couldn't continue, and well, Lashley, with steel chair in hand, destroys his knee further. And then Gage jumps on top of on the back of Lashley, trying to get in a sleeper or something. Coming to his pop's aid, and then he gets put into the hurt lock, and then the cheers rang out. And then MVP says that Lashley didn't know that was Gage, but we know that was not true. We know that he knew. So is this going to continue? Is Oldberg going to get retribution later and payback, or will he just go away already? It's funny because you see Gage and he's trying to act like he was groggy, and he looked like he looked like really like I don't know, like I'm just thinking, man, you really sure cannot act, kid. Like he was going, and then he goes, as if he was like looking to see, what am I doing it right? Like he hella looked like he did not know what he was doing when it came to his his acting ability, I guess you would say it, like acting like you're out and you're groggy, you know. And you hear Goldberg yell out, "I'm gonna get you," or something like that. I'm going, no, don't, just go away. We see how you are in the ring. You are reckless. You're trying to lift Lashley up, and there are times where you could tell Lashley was helping him, like allowing so that Lashley could lift him or Lashley could do a move with him. It's like Lashley was carrying him in this match. It's like he needs to really consider holding step, you know, hanging up his boots and focusing on his son's training. Be in the back, be in the PC and train guys and train wrestlers. It looks painful watching a wrestle. It's like watching Jeff Hardy. It's painful to watch him wrestle too. It's just like sometimes you need to know when it's time to go and it's time to hang it up. He's in great shape. So what? I was thinking the adage like you can take a piece of shit, shine it up, paint it to make it look like a shiny little bauble, right? And then pretty soon the paint is gonna chip away and you're gonna see the shit underneath. That's what happened with Goldberg. I'm sorry to say, but he was great in his time. He was one of the best. But it's like sometimes you just gotta know when it's time to go. When it's time to just say, I'm done. Now let's move on to the main event, and that is the Universal Championship. Michael Cole was already calling this match the greatest match in SmackDown, and SummerSlam history. Cole, let it play out first, and then see if Reigns and Cena will live up to that. I mean, why? Why are you saying that? Let's continue. Let's keep going. 356 days as a champ. That's Reigns, and Cena's longest reign was 380 days. So he's he's moving up on the total of Cena's longest reign. And a little more fact there. 2004 was Cena's SummerSlam debut. And then 10 years later in 2014, it was Reigns who debuted in SummerSlam. Now, Cena's playing catch up, and Reigns is dominating him. Even stopped Cena in his tracks when he tried to go with the 5 moves of doom. Like, he bounced off the ropes. He's about to do that dive forward, and then Reigns just said, boom, you're done. And he's all looking around going, oh, the 5 moves of doom, huh? Like, he was like really, really just putting it in Cena's face. It wasn't Cena doing this. That was Reigns, and Reigns was really dominating him, seriously. And then he goes for it, right? And then he's met with a Superman punch when he goes for the 5-knuckle shuffle. Then he is put in the guillotine when Cena asks you can't see me? And then Reigns was like, yeah, I can't see you. You want to see this? And he puts him in the damn guillotine, but Cena reversed it. And then he connects with that 5-knuckle shuffle and locks in the STFU. But that is a no-go. He kicks to the outside. We see a drive-by on the outside. And then we see an AA to Reigns through the announce table. And then in the ring, a Superman punch attempt gets reversed into an AA. But Reigns hits a Superman punch for a near fall. A super AA, a super one from the second turnbuckle, and it gets a near fall. Cena nearly became a 17-time world champion. It was like a 2. They said, the commentators of Michael Cole said it was 2.5. It was like 2 3/4. It was close. That much probably. That much before the referee's hands are going to do that. It was close. But then a spear connects after nailing 2 Superman punches to Cena. And he's still the Universal Champion, Roman Reigns. The head of the table, the tribal chief, the man who wants you to acknowledge him. Well, I think it's time that more people acknowledge him because he beat one of the best, and it's John Cena. John Cena looked good in this match. I liked the way he went about it because sometimes he can be stale. When he does the same old shtick, I mean, he did get to do the 5 moves of doom, but, it wasn't like he was able to do it right away. It's just one of those things where it's like, how come people can't? I always say that every time I would always see it, I go, why can't people to stop him? And then they had Roman Reigns do it, which was good. I loved that. Then, Roman Reigns was in the ring. And then we hear familiar music. I'm like, whose music is that? Because I haven't heard his music in such a long time, and it was Brock Lesnar. And he's looking like a fucking beast. They call him the Beast Incarnate. They call him all those adjectives. He looked like a beast. I mean, the haircut, right? Shaved on the side, and it's pulled back into a ponytail. Looked like a mohawk. That's the look that everybody, there was like a picture of him. I believe it was on Instagram or whatever. And it was out there, and people were going, man, if he returns and looks like that, it's going to be fucking nuts. And I'm telling you, man, he looks solid. He looked like he's in shape, that he's been working his ass off. I think he was trying to go back into MMA, and maybe that's why he got into even better shape. But man, I was asking the question, after Cena beat Reigns, it's like, who's going to take the title? Well, fucking Brock Lesnar. That's going to take who's going to be taking his title. There's no doubting that. And this is the time that I want to see Reigns and Lesnar wrestle. Not like before, how many times did they wrestle, especially at WrestleMania? And people were saying, getting damn stale, it's getting damn old. But Roman Reigns is the heel, and looks like Brock is the baby face. And I gotta tell you, at times I love when he's babyface. I love when he plays along, and he does his thing. Especially when he had the Money in the Bank briefcase, and he was doing this, dancing and being all funny with the DJ thing, like with the thing. It was hilarious. He can definitely go. Now, and he can be pretty decent on the mic, cutting the promo. But of course he relies on Paul Heyman back in the past, because that's not his strong suit. But hopefully he's been working on that. I mean, Paul Heyman was going, oh no, oh no. He's like basically looking at a ghost. He's looking at like his worst nightmare come true, because he doesn't have him in his corner anymore. He's not managing him. He's the advocate of or the or what do you call it? Not necessarily the prop advocate, but he's now with Roman Reigns. So we'll see how that goes, and if he's going to make an appearance on SmackDown. So I guess this means he's on SmackDown now. He was on Raw for the longest time, and we'll see what happens, and hopefully he'll wrestle. We'll see him wrestle on the Blue Brand. But that was my thoughts and my rundown and my recap and all those things for SummerSlam 2021. I enjoyed it. I really thought it was really well done. I love the surprises, the returns. Becky Lynch is back, and that's awesome. Brock Lesnar, that's fucking awesome. I got to put the F word in that. Because, man, dude, he looked good. He looked like he's ready to kick people's ass, man. And Roman Reigns better worry, man, because that title may not be in his hands for, in the family, the bloodline. It might not be there for, he won't be there, soon. It's going to be probably, gone. And Brock Lesnar's going to reign as the Universal Champion. But anyway, that's my video. So for those of you who stopped by and checked it out, I appreciate it. And in closing, as always, take care.